Hello, Oscar.
Hi, Richard.
Congratulations on your nomination this morning.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, tell me about that second, that minute when you hear your name announced, because it's got to kind of blow your mind a little bit.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I was doing the Today Show this morning, so they had me on there to talk about the movie, and then after the segment was over, I went downstairs, and that's when they were saying the nominations, and and the name came out, and I was immediately being escorted up the steps to get back on in front of the camera so I could get my reactions before I'd even had a moment to even possibly formulate what I could say about it.
Yeah, you just hope that you don't go,
yeah, exactly, exactly, and with Matt Lauer glowering at me. No, but it was amazing. It's something I would never, ever have expected.
And I guess you've been doing a day of press today, I would imagine. So have you had a chance to let it settle in, or is this the kind of thing that's going to take a little while?
I think it's going to take a little while.
Yeah.
It's such a huge thing, and I mean, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the fact that I was even cast in this movie. You know.
Well, we'll start there. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
I saw it a couple of weeks ago, and it has really stayed with me. And it's not just the music, which is fantastic. It's not just the performances. It's the whole kind of tone of the movie, I think, because we don't often see movies made with characters like Llewyn as the main character. Mm-hmm. You know, he is someone, in my estimation, who probably is, in terms of the success that he craves, he's probably about as successful as he's ever going to be in music. When we meet him in the movie. And we don't see characters like that portrayed very often in film. What did you think when you first saw the script?
I thought something very similar. It's interesting that you say the tone because, you know, when I talked to Joel in particular about directing, he says for him, directing basically just comes down to tone management. And he's just trying to guide the tone, and that's actually how T-Bone produces music as well. It's about tone and about identity.
Right.
And yeah, so when I read the script, I thought, wow, I understand this person. I understand what it is, and I understand that this is a man that's isolated and disconnected from people, and his only bridge is his music. And yet, that's also the thing that's causing him to suffer.
Yeah, the thing that gives him the most joy in life is probably also the thing that is the anchor around his neck in a lot of ways.
Exactly, yeah.
And he's also, because I think he's so in tune with his music, that's probably not the right way to phrase that, but he's so into the music that it seems that it's impossible for him to have normal interactions with people. Or is it that he was that before and the music is the thing that connects him?
I think that it's not because he's so into the music that he's not connected with people. I think it's just he's a man really primarily in grief over the loss of his partner, and over and over where his life has ended up. You know, and I think he's just incredibly frustrated and sad and trying to survive. So there's not a lot of time to deal with people's bullshit.
Right. Now, when you mentioned that Joel said about managing the tone, in what way do they direct you? I mean, they don't strike me as the kind of people that would give line readings or, you know, that kind of thing. How do they work with an actor?
It's always very specific and very light of touch, and sometimes it'll just be, you know, a modulation of rhythm, of pace. Maybe, okay, that worked. Maybe we make this line, maybe make this word mean this time.
Right.
You know, just very small, practical little things. You know, and sometimes it's just a physical movement. Maybe let go of that, or try that on this part. You know, try a pause here. It's always practical. It's never overly intellectual.
Could you feel the character changing or your performance changing as the shoot went on?
Yeah, it just deepens, and you get more comfortable, and things start to hit more, and you start to work in a much more instinctual way, which, to my surprise, is how the Coens work. Right. You know, you think for something that's so specific with its tone and with characters that are so specific that a lot of that would be, you know, dictated, but it wasn't. It kind of, they allow for it to breathe and it to be its own thing.
Now, I have to ask you about the cat. You share a lot of scenes with the cat, but you're afraid of cats. Is that right? Did I hear this?
No, I'm not afraid of cats. Just a cat put me in the hospital once.
How so?
It bit me. And then 90% of cat bites are highly infectious. So the next morning I woke up with a red line going up my arm. It had gotten in my lymphatic system. It bit my hand.
Wow.
So I had to go to the hospital. I was there for like 2 days.
This sounds serious. I didn't know this.
Yeah, I was like, that was like, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So then you cut to the Cohen set, and they're like, we've got 5 cats, and we're going to attach them to you, and you're going to run as fast as you can into the subway. So it was daunting.
Could you be like, could it be a lemming? Could it be anything else?
Exactly.
A little terrier?
Yeah. Yeah.
The music clearly comes naturally to you, or is something that you're adept in. Are you a folk music fan at all, or were you?
I am. I grew up listening mostly to Bob Dylan, but I was also a huge Van Morrison fan.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't aware of this particular time before those guys,
right.
And so getting to learn this style of music and diving into that repertoire. I've become so obsessed with, above everyone else, Dave Van Ronk's music, but Karen Dalton as well, and Reverend Gary Davis and Phil Oakes and all those guys.
And what did you take away from reading about them? Because I've read a great deal about that, and it's interesting. Some of the places that we see in the film are still in Greenwich Village.
Oh, yeah.
The Kettlefish, and, there's a few other signs that look very familiar to me. The Café Wa, I think, is in there. And so, it feels like that culture is still kind of vibrant there. Not exactly that, but the creative spirit is still very much there.
Yeah, it still exists. I mean, it was... The music's always around, and it's always going to be around. It's going to go up and down with popularity, but it's something that's always going to be there. And just because people aren't hearing it doesn't mean it's not happening.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think one of the things about folk music, certainly later on with folk music, is that when folk music became protest music, a lot of it was so very specific to what was happening that very second in the news that the songs haven't aged as well as they might, or they don't get played as often as they might because they are such artifacts of their time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's true. And it's interesting because Dave Van Ronk was a fiercely political person, but always stayed away from it in his music. In fact, his only quote-unquote political song was Romping in the Swamp. That was his Vietnam song, which is basically just about getting bit by mosquitoes.
Now, I don't think we covered. What did you take away from those guys, reading about those guys?
Just the sense of community that was happening down there, and how alive and how electric it was.
And there's a like what I consider to be a showstopper near the middle of the film when you're singing "Please, Mr. Kennedy" with Justin Timberlake and. Adam Driver. Tell me a little bit about that, and just sort of performing that. Was it done? How long did it take to shoot? And
that was about half a day of shooting.
Was it?
And we were just having an amazing time. Ethan would come up and prod Adam into making stranger and stranger sounds, and we were just having a blast. The whole experience was so incredibly joyful. I have no way of even communicating it. It was such an absolute pleasure to do.
Yeah, it really. I mean, it's a fantastic moment in the film. As are all the musical numbers. At the very beginning, when the film opened with "Hang Me" and they played the entire song, or you sing the entire song.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, okay, this signals to me that the music is going to tell me 50% of this story, probably.
That's exactly right. That's why they did that.
Yeah.
They start off that way to let you know what this is going to be. You're going to watch songs in their entirety.
And was that daunting to you in any way, or was it because it's a lot, right? I mean, you're a trained professional actor, but as a musician, you may. I'm not sure if you've worked as much, as a musician as you have an actor, and I just don't know if it's a different way of putting yourself out there, or if it feels daunting.
It's definitely a very vulnerable position to be in, but I was ready for it. I was ready for the challenge. I was like, I knew I could play Llewyn, and I knew what was required, which was these songs.
Mm-hmm.
But the songs are amazing, beautiful, old folk songs that have been passed down. So the songs are great. I'm working with T-Bone. He's going to tell me if I'm sounding false and he's building my confidence throughout. And Joel and Easton are filming it, so in a way, it's like how you'd have to really try hard to really fuck that up. You know?
Right. And were they done? And I know we're on the last question. Were they done live in the film?
Yeah, all the music was done live, except for I think 2 songs because the Punch Brothers weren't around. They're the ones that sing the old triangle.
Right. Right.
So that was playback, and I think there might have been one other thing, but all of my songs definitely were done live. It's the playing and the singing.
Well, you know what? You can feel the difference in the film.
Yeah,
you really can.
Oh,
and
that's great.
Congratulations on it, and congratulations on the nomination today. It's a big day.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm a happy camper.
All right, well, enjoy the rest of your day. Go have a drink somewhere.
All right, thanks.
Relax.
Thank you.
Okay, bye now.
Bye bye.